hills and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance to spit in his eye. Oh, well, they gave me balls, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I drown my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as good.
Hello everybody, welcome to Shortbangers. I am Matty, joined tonight by John. John, how are you doing?
Good, aye. I'm just laughing because I'm trying to remember the bit of Team America. Like, what's the bit when the boys in the car and he's supposed to give, like, is it the international sign for I'm in trouble, and he's like waving his arms about?
Like Team America is a fucking amazing film, by the way. Anyway, you good? What are you drinking?
It's a bottle of. It's not the entire bottle, but it's a bottle of Jura Journey because
Nice.
Jura is fucking brilliant.
And Colin, you are joining us via satellite link from sunny Dublin.
And first transatlantic episode, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Let's count it. Aye, for Dublin, aye. Obviously drinking Guinness for that reason.
Good stuff, so you should be. Right, we'll get stuck right into it then, so before your battery runs out or internet connection goes or something like that. 25 minutes on the clock. First question of the night, actually is for me. And this came up in one of our group chats the other day. I forgot the actor's name that played Father Ted, right? Obviously, Father Ted was cut short because he died.
Dermot Morgan.
That's it. So, when he died, and this is my question, did he go to heaven, right? If you assume that heaven and hell are things, right? Did he go to heaven because he was like playing a priest and all the rest of it and he was a good guy? Or did he go to hell for blasphemy?
I didn't watch it, so I don't know. Did he do bad things like?
You never watched Father
program?
Ted?
No.
Fucking hell, Colin.
I know.
Well, watch Father Ted.
This could be the first box set that all three of us watch. And
Yes. Yes, that's a great shout, by the way.
I think Father Ted might be right up Collins Street. Same sort of like dry sense of humour at times.
I'm gobsmacked that you've never watched it, Colin. You will absolutely love it.
Really? I just thought it was a religious thing, I think. That's the way I never bothered.
Do you think it was like Songs of Praise?
Right, well, if you can't get the answer, then what about you, John? Do you think he's going to heaven or hell?
Do you think on like the balance of things that he did more good than bad? So like he brought a lot of joy to a lot of people through Father Ted, and that's got to outweigh surely any blasphemy that might send him in the opposite direction.
Well, you'd say that, but God doesn't really strike you as the sort of guy that would laugh at himself, does he? Do you know, like he set out rules to specifically note if I can talk shit about him.
What was that commandment? Is it like thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain? Was that one of the commandments?
I don't know,
Does that sound
something
about
like
right?
that, yeah. But there is definitely a thing about taking the Lord's name in vain.
Oh no, wait, is it shan't worship false idols? If I think about this long enough, I'll get the other 8 as well.
Oh, we've not got that long on the podcast. Right, hold on, let's have a wee look at the 10. I imagine we're kind of the 10 commandments, eh?
What
right.
about,
So I've googled it. It's come up 10 commandments. So it's not just you, John, and it shows you 4, and then the wee box below it says 4 more. Fuck you, Google.
Even Google struggling.
There should be 6 more, eh?
Well, thou shalt not commit adultery. This is the ones that are listed on Google. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not covet. Thou shalt not steal. They've got thou shalt not steal and you shall not steal. Google's having a fucking laugh here. Honour thy father and thy mother. Remember the Sabbath day, and thou shalt not make unto thee any. Oh fucking hell! Any graven image.
You said because bus driver in Dublin, they asked a question. They said, "What's the difference between Bono and God?" Do you know?
Well, Bono's real for a start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bono's made up his own arse.
God doesn't think he's Bono.
How many different portrayals of God can you think of in like TV, film, literature? Just a couple that I can think of to try and answer the question about does he have a sense of humour or not? Acid House Rules, God's in that.
Mhm.
And he's got a bit of a sense of humour, but it's a bit of a dark sense of humour.
Mhm.
But also to take your point, if you've seen Bruce Almighty, when Jim Carrey becomes God in that, he becomes just snowed under with all the fucking wants and wishes of the world. And I've still got to think that even though God doesn't have a sense of humour, he still has to take into account that Dermot Morgan did more good than bad.
All right, I'd like to think he was in heaven. If there was a thing like that, I would like to think that's where he's found himself, because Father Ted was ace. And definitely that should be probably our first box set that we will deep dive and review on Longbangers as a wee exclusive for you folks that this is coming down the line. Right, so first proper question of the night then from Twitter comes from Ray. Would you rather walk on water or part the sea?
Part of the sea.
And what's your working, Colin?
I'm thinking you could drive if you parted the sea. You could also take more than just yourself if you parted the sea. Is
Aye.
that right? That'd be right. Aye.
Yeah,
that
that's
would be a
right.
bit of a laugh, but it's not going to be just for you.
See if you could walk on water. Like, so I think when Raymond messaged that in, like he said, like the socialist route is to part the water so that everyone could follow you. But I think we're also aware that, like, say for example, I could walk on water. You could definitely pull people in a boat behind you, and you wouldn't require the same amount of strength that you would on land. So you could still probably achieve the same end result.
But why would they want to do that? If they're in a boat and they could row and they would get there quicker than you pulling them, or put an engine on the boat and they'd be much quicker. That would be a complete waste of the ability to walk on water.
Scenic route, a leisurely jaunt across the sea.
Like a fast swim.
Aye.
They'd drop their limbs off and everything going to the pace, so wouldn't it?
It would only come in useful if you were walking relatively short. So only like if you're crossing rivers. No use if you're crossing. So nobody's wanting to walk like across the fucking Atlantic. Even if you could do it, you're not going to say, Joe, I'll take a packed lunch with me, I'll set off the day, I'll be alright, I'll be in America by the morning.
But what about the guys that do take boats and they do like these massive solo excursions? So I'm trying to think.
They wouldn't walk it, would they?
This is a plan that's sort of like formulating in my head as we're talking about this. But see if you can walk on water. Does that mean, like, so Colin made the point before about being in a car. If you can walk on water but you try to drive, does that mean that the car will sink but you don't? Like, how much of what you touch continues to float? Because theoretically,
I would take you down with them.
if you were, like, say you were to go for that camping excursion, like take
Why would you take a car on water though? Take a boat. Like that the boat's designed to go through the water. Like it's no aerodynamic. It would be aquadynamic. Would that be the right?
So to go back to my previous
hydrodynamic. I don't know.
To go back to my point before about whether or not the things that you touch are also able to like stay on the surface of the water, you could theoretically camp. You could just go on that massive walk that you're talking about and just camp and take supplies with you along the way. And I think that sounds far better than just parting the sea.
But it'd be boring. It's not like you're walking. There's no scenery. It's just fuck off. Just water everywhere. That would be in that case, you'd be better parting the sea, because imagine all the stuff that's at the bottom that you'd find. Take your metal detector, mind we were talking about battery before. You take
that seems awfully, what's the word I'm looking for? Inconvenient for like the sharks and the fish and that, because they would presumably not be able to cross from one side of the parted sea to the other.
Well, go in the middle, then there's plenty of room. Do you know there's only going to be the bit that you're walking that they can't go into? there's still like there's tons of sea that they could still swim about in.
All
without
right,
being
hang on. So,
inconvenienced.
are you thinking that as you walk through it, like the water just like almost like a bubble around you,
Well,
like you're walking in it?
even if it went as a corridor for the whole duration of the time that you were going, that corridor is still only the width of you plus a bit, right? And the sea's massive. Like the shark's only going to run out of sea because you've just put a line in the middle, and as soon as you're over the other side, it'll join up again. It'll be all right.
I'd still rather walk it.
I wonder
On
if
the-
that's
on
how
the
Nemo went missing.
What do you mean, like because someone
He just
parted
found,
the sea?
he just found himself on the wrong side. Oh, his pals are the kid. They were maybe halfway. He was just a wee bit in front. Somebody's gone, fuck it, I'm walking through the sea today. Parted the waves. Nemo's on this side. Oh, his pals over there. Came with Fisher, like, they're no good at remembering things. So by the time it's gone back together, he's forgotten where he was gone. His pals have forgotten where they left them. They didn't have mobile phones or that. So
See the thing about parting the sea as well that we're not considering, like, because we're talking about big bodies of water here. It's not just a totally flat surface down at the bottom. You've got massive trenches and whatnot. So if you're going to go down, you're going to go a long way down. You're going to have to climb all the way back up. Walking on the surface still seems like the far better option.
it's the quicker option, I think.
Aye.
It's boring. I just think that would be boring. It's tedious. Anyway, so it was your choice, John. Like you could pick. There's no right or wrong here. You're all right. So, is that what your final answer is, John? No, but no. If you're having if you're going on it's like going as the crow flies or taking like the bumpy route. So you know, walking is same distance as the crow flies, but you'd actually do more steps going along the bottom because you're having to go up and down. You're adding the vertical.
So actually, I
Whereas
suppose
it's completely flat.
if you part the sea, that's more of the scenic route that I was talking about before. So actually, I've changed my answer. Part of the sea, seabed.
Right. Okay, I think we all agreed on that then. So that is now in canon. Officially, the correct answer is the part of C. Right, Mel Clements asked, somebody referred to her as Mel Clement, which I thought was good. That's
Down the slope. I was going to do that deliberately this
Yep.
episode and every episode thereafter.
Well done down the slope. We might nick that. So Mel Clement, our Shortbangers French correspondent, asked, why are football mascots animal-based, except Patrick Thistle? Maybe animals are safer. And why don't other international teams beyond the UK steal cheesy pop songs as their tournament anthems? It's actually 3 questions. We'll deal with the first one first, but the mascots, and why are they always animal-based?
Is it so they're child friendly? It's going to be the simplest option, eh?
Aye, probably.
But then, as Colin's been discovering recently, is it maybe verging a wee bit too much on cosplay for some people?
This tweet, when it came in, triggered a series of other tweets where folk were saying there's loads of examples of non-animal related mascots. So there was like a boiler. What were some of the other ones? Hold on, let me have a quick look.
Terry Healy group getting involved in the mascots.
Aye, West Bromwich Albions is a gas boiler.
Is that, I can't remember, I want to say it's a Worcester Bosch or something. That rings a bell. But the fourth, you've got 4 for Friday.
Aye, that's the 4 for Friday. That's the picture that I'm looking at there. You see that there? 4 for Friday.
Union Berlin have got this like mad dude. He almost looks like a sort of medieval soldier, but I can't remember what the story is behind it. He comes out at full time, I'm sure, and sort of has a wee bit of a sing along with the fans and the players.
Minted.
Brilliant.
I'm all for stuff like that. Like the weirder the better. Just get folk involved in the feel wee quirky stuff like that. Bro.
What's the weirdest? Sorry, Colin.
Did you ever watch the Aussie Rules on a Saturday morning on BT and that? They have it's not really mascot related, but at the end of the game, it's quite like the football when you watch the crowd. They're shouting at the players and all that, like football does. But at the end, they play the cheesiest song. Every team has got their own song. It's shite. The crowd didn't join in for nothing. And it just plays round the tannoy and you think, what the fuck have these put that on for? Like, it's like a tradition. Every team has their own one. Garbage.
What cheesy song would you pick for Hibs? So obviously you can't have Sunshine on Leith because that's no no cheesy enough for this discussion. A totally random cheesy song. What would you pick?
Ballroom Blitz by Sweet.
Any particular reason?
It's just a fucking brilliant song. I've got it on my gym playlist. I've in spin classes that I've done before, I managed to get it included on that playlist. It's brilliant. And it's a good story. Seemingly, it's about the time that the Sweet went to Kilmarnock and played a show there. And it just turned into a riot.
Bro. Colin?
What about I Should Be So Lucky by Kylie Minogue? Quite cheesy.
And
It can be. We're never lucky, are we? So
no.
because the irony.
I would go for Dr. Jones. Was it Aqua that sang that? Dr. Jones. And again, just because it's got that wee wake up now, but the crowd could sing along to that bit. And you could fit a player's name or something into that. So, right, Mel also asked, why don't other international teams beyond the UK steal cheesy pop songs as their tournament anthems?
Have we got an example?
Oh, Sweet Caroline, is that the...
That'll be what that refers
that
to.
what-
Is that England? Right, I see.
Are they singing that at the Women's World Cup at the moment?
I think so.
There's a weird
England,
history.
yeah.
There's a weird history in the UK. I don't know if it's happened so much recently, but you used to have football teams like when they reached cup finals and that they would release their own song, and it seemed to die a death maybe about maybe like 15, 20 years ago.
What do you
but
think
why was
ended
that?
it?
Like, do you think other countries like have got their respective charts? Do you think their football teams like Bayern Munich are bringing out a cup finals?
By the way, the German ones would be the best at it if they were. Maybe the Italian ones would be pretty decent. John, you're going to have to go onto the Google after this.
The Google.
Get onto the Google.
When the English teams,
I think the English team's always done it. And
they did, but I think it's when they lost interest in the cup. That's when they stopped doing it. You know, when it became like I'd rather finish fourth or fifth than win the cup sort of style argument. They just gave up with it because it was the cup final was a big massive thing. Right?
aye.
You used to get up in the morning and had all the shit on the telly all day, like buses getting to the stadium and interviewing everybody, down to the pie shop in the local tune and all that. But we'd done a coloured pie and stuff like that. And then they just went, nah, I'd rather finish fourth in the league than have all this shit. So they just gave up the songs as well.
They should do songs for the top four then to replace it because folk are missing out on shite football songs. All right, last one from Mel was, what top tier children's dinners do adults want to eat? For example, dinosaur nuggets.
Every year, I put on pie, beans, and chips for the Champions League. I get mates round. We have Champions League pie, beans, and chips.
Do you go for a particular brand of Scotch pie?
Usually, I think it's normally Bell's, but sometimes the cheaper the better. So I think is it sword pies for Iceland? You get like 6 in a cardboard box for about 85 pence.
Yes, sword pies.
It's
Filled with
it.
unidentified meat.
Oh, it's just fat and gristle. It's beautiful.
Better. Right, so you got pie, chips, and beans for you. Is your daughter past? Or she will be past the stage eating rusks and stuff like that. Did you ever have a nostalgic bit of rusk?
We've not actually introduced her to rusks yet, but I love rusks, so it's maybe no such a bad idea that she doesn't get introduced because she'll never get any. I'll just tan a lot.
Were you calling any bairns meals that you were delighted they were having?
Wave your arms if you're in trouble.
Oh, I don't know if we've lost Colin. If his internet's packed in. Oh, back again. It's hard to tell something's whether Colin's thinking or if his internet connection's gone.
Ken, what the bairn does get is
Did you count parents? I'm here.
Oh yeah. No, on this side you're no. I reckon. There's a great listening when this happens. John, what were you saying there?
One of the things that the bear eats is these. It's actually terrible. She gets these little oat bars. So I think there's like a raspberry flavoured one. There's a carrot cake flavoured one. There's an apple one. And I keep having to sneak back out to the shops to buy them because I keep eating them all.
Because you scran them up. I would think sometimes like Daily Dunkers and that for the kids. When we did pack lunches for them, that was great. I'd take like my own packed lunch to work. For this, just kind of assembled for the stuff that we'd got for the kids. Do you remember hamwiches? Do you ever have them when you were wee?
You talking about like the baked Finder's crispy pancake style ones?
So the Bernard Matthews, and I think fuck knows what the meat in them is. Like you would think it was ham, but I'm not convinced, and it's got like
gristle.
A thin bit of cheese through it. And I saw them in Tesco.
I think one of the worst things that I ever read on the back of I don't know what it was, but it was something like that. It was like turkey drummers or something. I think it was mechanically recovered meat, and then you Google exactly what goes into that, and it's just like fuck me, it's eyelids and arseholes that goes into it basically.
But do you know how they mechanically recover it? Have you seen the process?
Do they freeze it and then blast it off with like an air hose or something?
So right. The method that I saw was for making hot dogs, and it fucking turns your stomach exactly like a hot dog, but I have to not think about how it's made to be able to eat a hot dog because it's fucking. It's like the carcass pretty much gets forced through like this sort of mesh at pace, and it's the stuff that comes out the other side of it that gets kind of collected up and then mashed together to make the fucking.
They got like a big cow cannon just chucking it at a chain link fence or something.
Aye, no far off it. But like a really fine chain. It's it's grim.
That was one of my favourite meals growing up as well. You get the wee finger rolls at like Asda, Morrison's, of that, and you get the can. What was it? Was it Prince's that you used to get like half a dozen hot dogs in, and then you got like the big jars and stuff at Costco. I could go a hot dog now.
Hot dogs would probably fall into that category. But like I say, you get premium hot dogs now, which I think are probably made with nicer stuff. But the cheap ones, when you find out how they're made, you actually grudge how much you pay for a cheap tin of hot dogs because you're like, I reckon there's better meat in your dog food and stuff like that than goes into a hot dog.
Would you ever eat dog food?
No.
Why not?
I'm not a dog.
But it's meat. It's like, meat and jelly and vegetables. Like it can't be too dissimilar to what we eat.
Right, what have you eaten that smells like dog food?
Nothing. But the dog food, the stuff that Murphy gets is this fish-based biscuit shite because he's got a sensitive stomach. So, fish.
Would you eat dog biscuits?
I have. By the way, this is going to sound really bad. People will probably not be surprised, but I have sampled pretty much all of Murphy's food, with the exception of that fish stuff, and with the exception of the wet stuff. I've had biscuits and all sorts of. It's like his wee gravy buns. Just thought, I'll get a bash. Like if I'm giving it to him, it feels reasonable to give it a go.
The fuck is wrong with you? And how did they taste?
Gravy bones are a bit dry. I don't think I had one of these Markies. They were just a bit, I don't know, something put me off about them. I'm trying to think what else. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
Colin, you ever treated yourself to a bit of dog food or dog treat?
Wouldn't go near it. Like, you tried the kibble? You tried the kibble, John?
Nah, so I've not tried the stuff that he had when he was a pup. I've not tried the fish stuff that he's got now. It's mostly it's like the biscuits that I've tried.
Couldn't even imagine.
Well, if you've tried dog food or anything, let us know. Text in 295. Just put dog food John, and then give us your thoughts.
Listen, I'll not be alone. I'm just the one that's bold enough and brave enough to say that I've done it.
Aye, enough fair play to you. Aye, wouldn't it be me? Stuff stinks. Like none of it looks nice.
Oh, listen, the biscuits are dry, bland, tasteless shite, but the dog likes them.
There must be somebody paid though to try it. Like, that must be somebody's job because they'll not be able to taste what I'm.
Aye, if
Animals
it's safe,
will, because they're herbivores.
if it's safe to eat,
So it'll have to be a human that eats it.
nah, if it's safe to eat, they'll be able to test them on. They'll put them down and say which ones you like best. It'll be like going to opticians. Is it number one or number two? Number one, number two, and that's how they'll decide.
Or
They'll go,
the
right,
the same.
just the same.
Can I just read something out that I've googled?
Yeah.
Dog food isn't designed for the unique nutrition needs of humans, though it is made from ingredients that are technically safe for humans to eat. Thus, it's not inherently toxic for humans and may be safe in an emergency situation. However, eating dog food may increase your risk of developing foodborne illness. It says nothing about dog biscuits, so I'm going to keep tanning them. By the way, it was like it's a one-off. It's not like I'm taking it for my play piece or anything.
Have you ever humped somebody's leg?
Since the last day of dog biscuit.
Stephen Bell asks, is We Butter the Bread with Butter the best name ever for a music band? And if not, what is? And his vote goes to the Butthole Surfers.
Is We Butter the Bread with Butter an actual band name?
Well, I hope so, otherwise the question doesn't make any sense, does it?
Butthole Surfers is good. I think there was a lot of punk bands that had good names. I was listening to the Dead Kennedys earlier.
There was the Prince Andrew's A Sweaty Nonce. That was by the Cunts, wasn't it? Which is there you go. There's your winner. Any advance on the Cunts?
No, that's pretty good.
Not for me.
Right, that's us out of time. That flew by. 25 minutes. I think we only did about 3 questions. Well, a 3-parter on one of those questions, I
I
suppose.
saw that chat about parting the sea.
It's an important thing to get to the bottom. By the way,
to get to the bottom of.
there you go. How bad was our knowledge in the Ten Commandments? But more importantly, how bad was Google's knowledge of the Ten Commandments? I would have thought that would have been like straight up first hit. You would have known exactly what they were.
See, because of the evangelicals in America and that, you would imagine that they'd had a word with Google that Google would be on point for when someone Googles it. That feels like something that should be like front and center on the Google search page.
Right, the first image. Here's what they are. Right, we'll cover this off before we wrap up because
People are desperate to know.
I felt we were more ignorant than usual for something that we should probably at least have a fucking semblance of an idea about it. I suppose you can. Like the Ten Commandments are all sort of like didn't be a cunt. Like that's sort of how they're based around, but a bit more.
Join us next week when we start reading out Psalms.
Right, so you shall have no other gods before me. So again, thinking himself. This goes back to what we said about Noah being somebody who he was thinking would laugh at himself. You shall not make idols. Well, tough. You shall not take the name of the Lord in capital letters, your God, in vain. So even just referring to yourself as your Lord, so he would have been
capital letters.
He would have been the first one as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, so he's. I'll give myself a big. Like God wasn't a powerful enough title for him to give himself already. He's like the Lord God is gone for. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Honour your father and your mother. You shall not murder. Pretty straightforward one, that one. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbour. Does that mean to lie?
Yeah.
And you shall not covet. That's quite a broad one, isn't it?
What does covet mean?
Like want.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, I know we're out of time, but going back to the original question, I reckon there's a lot of people throughout the course of human history have broken those 10 commandments and are in hell. I don't think God's got any space left for the likes of Derek Morgan to go in there.
So you think he's in heaven just because he's all round goodness?
It's just God's just prioritising. You're fine. You can go upstairs. No, you're a really bad cunt. You're downstairs.
Aye. All right. If you're in heaven or if you're in hell, text in 80295. Let us know which you are and which one's better. Right. Thanks for listening. If you want to hear more, fuck knows why you would, but if you want to hear more, you can subscribe £3 a month at longbangers.hubwave.net. Sign up there. There is loads of Shortbangers content. There is exclusive Longbangers content, and we have now introduced some exclusive written content as well, which is very funny, written by our John here as well. So get on board with that as well. Right, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink